interestingly enough, two of the guitars that I get a lot of questions about are the two steel string guitars that I have that I've put nylon strings on. One of them is the guitar I have right here. This is an Orangewood Dana. These are very expensive, very robust guitars. And really for no good reason. I just wanted to find out if you could put nylon strings on a steel string guitar and how it would work. And the surprising part is it was a one-for-one swap. I didn't have to do anything different to put the nylon strings on it. I just put the nylon strings on and away I went. But what I found is the light touch of the nylon strings in order to play it is fantastic if I go to a guitar workshop or something where I'm going to be spending 2 or 3 hours on the guitar on almost a steady way. And it just lightens the wear and tear on your hands. And so the question is, how good are these guitars going to sound when you have nylon strings on them? Well, and of course, these are going to have much less power to them. You wouldn't want to necessarily use them for performances if I just hit a couple of chords. They don't sound too bad, but they definitely don't have the booming sound, say, of a dreadnought or something like that. And of course, this is very much so a parlor guitar, a travel guitar. It's not really meant to put the power out that way anyway, but it just plays nicely. You can play it finger picking. And for my use and for me and my pleasure of playing it, it's just fine. Now, where do I use this the most? Well, I like to write songs, so I'm constantly sitting down and plucking away at something and trying to tease a song out of something. And so this is just a great way. If you've got to spend a couple hours on the guitar, this is going to be a great way to not put too much wear and tear on your hands. And it sounds fine for the task at hand, if you like. The other part is if you have other people in the house, these are definitely toned down sounds, and so you are not blasting other folks out of the room or out of the house anyway, and it just works really nice. Interestingly enough, I find when I play my nylon string guitars, I'm not scaring all the cats away either. It's got a nice gentle sound, so things that are also sensitive to loud noises aren't going to be heavily affected. And I think it sounds just fine. So if I just finger pick some simple chords, a C chord, it's not blasting you out of the room, but it sounds right. A D chord. Nothing really terrible. Now, of course, you're not going to play this out and about. Now, this is one of the guitars that I have strung as a nylon. The other guitar is my Donner Hush 1, which is basically a 2x4 with a fretboard on it and a piezo pick or a piezo pickup. And so you can't play that guitar without having it tied into something. So let me grab that and we'll take a listen to how it sounds. And so the Donner Hush, now it has to have some kind of electronics on it to play. In this case, I've put it into my Headrush FRFR PA, so there's no electronic tonality being added to it. This does have sort of a little bit of an EQ on it, but I've got it pretty neutral for right now. And if I just hit a couple of chords, then you can hear there's a lot more power on this. Just because I've got it through an amp, I can probably try to dial down the volume a touch. Now, without the amplifier, this thing is dead quiet. I can't hear it well enough when I'm holding it and trying to play it for it to work for me to play. I have to have it through some kind of amplification or into a headset of some type in order to play. But again, the guitar sounds wonderful just using the built-in piezos. And one of the nice things for the Hush, it does have a very high action. You can take the bridge down, you can do a lot of things to make it better, but one of the simplest things is just, put the nylon strings on it, took no changes to anything. The nylon strings just went right on, and it just sounds and feels wonderful. And so again, when I want to play in a very light way without too much wear and tear on me, if I don't mind having a speaker plugged in, this is just a wonderful playing guitar. And to me, it sounds quite good even without any fancy electronics. Now you put some reverb in, you put some chorus in, you can put distortion on if you'd like. Anything that you really want to do in order to make the sound come out the way you want it, you can certainly do with this particular guitar. It is quite amazing. They're fairly inexpensive, and I'm just putting ball-ended nylon string guitar strings on it. So I'm not doing anything fancy at all. I haven't reshaped the nut in any way. And the guitar is just a wonderful instrument to play and have around. If I had a disappointment, one of the things I had really wanted this for was if I just wanted to zip out to an open mic or something, maybe I could use this to make it a little more convenient to just kind of run in and run out. The downside is the sound of this guitar really does depend on the quality of the system you're running it through. If you need a little bit more boom to it, or you need a little bit more resonance like you'd expect from an acoustic, it's a little weak for that. You'd want to have a little bit of electronics attached to it before you try to play it at an open mic. But even just listening through the head rush, it doesn't sound that terrible. Just a little finger picking. And again, it's not that it's bad, it's just if you are out performing, this is a little light without a bit of support. So for those of you who are asking to hear how my nylon strings are doing, these are the same nylon strings I've had on now for probably a year or so. They don't seem to wear out, or the tonality doesn't seem to go down, at least over that period of time. And so just a little bit of the sounds coming directly into a camera with nothing extra added to it.